How many times has this happened to you? You crack the mic, open your big mouth, and nothing. Broadcaster's block, DJ days, creative cloggage. Oh, it's the worst. We've all been there. It sucks. Hey, I'm Jeff, the radio DJ dude, and I'm here to offer up 6 sexy tips to boost your voice tracks, to add some pop to your live breaks. Because, come on, if you're not engaging your listeners with creative content, if you're not wowing them with the unexpected, then what's the point of them actually tuning in, listening longer, coming back to your station? No, there is no point. And full disclosure, these aren't going to be low-rent, generic tips either. Like, oh, just be yourself, use authentic, inclusive language. Well, duh, hopefully you're already doing that. No. I'm going to give you some actionable, creative ideas. So when you pop that mic up, you'll always have something engaging and creative to offer your listeners. So if you're ready to kick your voice tracks or live breaks up to 11, well, let's go.
We are on the air.
Numero uno, which is by far my favorite kind of voice track or live break when I was actually rocking the FM, and that is phoners, putting listeners on the air. Before starting my righteously rad all-80s station, Triple X 80s, I was on the air 12 years doing a nationally syndicated radio show. And the one gift that job continues to give are the 1,258 phone calls that I saved through all those years on the air. All the listener actions, the jokes, the requests, the zingers. I don't know why I saved them. Maybe I'm an audio hoarder and need a support group. And when I started my 80s internet station, they really became part of my secret sauce. One of my unique value offerings that most other internet stations don't have. Here's a couple examples.
The request lines are open.
Triple X 80s. Hey there, I'm Jammin' Jeff Scott, and what you doing?
Like out here in the field and...
You're just out in the field?
Yeah.
Is your boyfriend looking to pick ticks off you later?
What?
Oh, well, we got the tick-picking soundtrack right here on Triple X 80s.
Any way you want it.
And well, that's an example of a phoner break that I run with different phoner stagers. Those are usually for longer phone calls like these. Let me hit you with a couple just dry, short phone calls that I use as voice tracks over songs. Triple X 80s.
Hey, you guys rock.
Yeah?
Man, I love you guys. I listen to you 24/7 every day. I don't miss a beat.
If you could find it in your heart to listen to us 25/8, then
25/8. Ha ha.
Triple X 80s. Triple X 80s, this is Jammin' Jeff Scott.
I listen to you all the time.
You're not calling me from a mental institution, are you?
No, calling you from the car.
Because I get a lot of calls from the sanitarium.
They want you to come join them.
Triple X 80s. I love it when the listener is actually funnier than the DJ. There's nothing more captivating than when you air a phoner. I mean, for the listener, it's kind of like a high-speed car chase. They don't know what's going to happen next. They don't know where you're going to go with that caller, what you're going to ask, how that caller is going to react. Phoners are an incredible way to boost engagement and encourage listener participation. Now, if you're on real radio, then you have a source for this content, and hopefully you are incorporating phoners into your breaks. But I get it, you might not have access to 1,258 phoners in a blue binder. So what do? Well, one technique is to use AI to recreate some of those special quote-unquote listener moments. Instead of trying to replicate an entire phone conversation, just create some AI conversation starters. Have these robo-listeners ask you certain questions, and that could be kind of the launch point of that particular break or voice track. Jumping over to 11 Labs, you want to choose an AI voice that has the right energy. We're betting on Freya to bring home some AI magic.
Hey Jeff, what's your favorite 80s TV show? Hey Jeff, what's your favorite 80s movie? Hey Jeff, what's your most embarrassing first date?
As you can see, your creativity is really the only limiting factor for the amount of topics you can come up with.
Hey Jeff, what's going on this weekend?
Okay, that did not sound good.
Hey Jeff, what's going on this weekend?
Good. But, I mean, they shouldn't all come from the same voice. That's a great thing with 11 Labs. You have a lot of other voices you could throw in the mix here.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on this weekend?
Okay, let's make a tweak here.
Yo, Jeff, what's going on this weekend?
So many frickin' possibilities. And number 2 are listener reactions. They're not full phone conversations. They're just little bursts of listener-generated energy, wild lines, which are perfect to drop in after anything you say. And of course, I've got a couple queued up for you.
Ah, that's special.
All right. That's great. Woo! Fantastic.
The one thing I love about these listener drops or listener reactions is they pack such a punch in such a small package. I'm not talking about 20-second phone calls. A lot of times these are just woohoo or wow, that's great or what the heck are you talking about? They're 2 to 3 second little infusions of listener participation, and that goes a long way. Triple X 80s. My name is Jammin' Jeff Scott, and Cindy, do you welcome the healing power of the 80s into your life?
I claim it. Give it to me.
Hallelujah. Yes, sweet mama. Turn up Triple X 80s. And your audience hears that. They're thinking, oh, wow, that could be me. They actually, take calls, they care, they listen, and they make us part of the show. Anytime you can include your listeners, give them a voice on the air, that goes a long way. They now kind of have ownership in the show, they're engaged, and they're waiting to see what happens next. Triple X 80s. I am Jammin' Jeff Scott, and we're all about keeping you happy. Jimmy's over on the phone, and I'm so thrilled to tell you this could be your request.
Thank you.
And if not, well, it has a lot of the same cheesy 80s notes, so enjoy on Triple X 80s. Because at the end of the break, you've created a pattern interrupt. Triple X 80s with me, Jammin' Jeff Scott, and I want to let you know you are in a judgment-free zone. So slide on your MC Hammer pants, pull on that Punky Brewster t-shirt, and let your 80s freak flag fly.
All right. That's great.
It's Triple X 80s. Because a listener first hears you running your gums and yapping your yap, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, this other voice crackles through. And they weren't expecting that. And anytime you can do that, hit them, with something they're not expecting, it kind of wakes them up from the daze they're in, and they lean in and they listen a little more, and then they wait to maybe see what you're going to do next. So that is super valuable to have in your arsenal. And it's pretty easy to pull off even if you don't have volumes of pre-recorded real listener phone calls. Yes, once again, our friendly robots in the clouds come to the rescue to create some really short and punchy listener drop-ins. Let's see if we can't replicate some of these real listener drops with some AI listener drops. So let's jump back to the real deal.
All right. That's great.
Let's see if we can't copy that. Jumping over to 11 Labs. Generate.
All right, that's great.
No, it lacks the punch. Great thing with 11 Labs, you can dive under the hood and tweak settings. And playing with the stability setting really helps change the delivery. It interjects some variability and vocal variety into how your text is delivered. So don't be afraid to dip your toe in the unstable waters of the stability setting. And let's see what this does.
All right, that's great.
I like the energy, but I think we have to work on our text. Let's try breaking the one sentence into two and seeing where that gets us.
All right, that's great.
Okay, slight change. Now an exclamation point.
All right, that's great.
And there's no science in these settings, unfortunately. So you just have to keep sliding until you find a read that you like.
All right, that's great.
I mean, that's not bad.
All right, that's great.
Wow, was not expecting that. That's super cool. Let's even bring that down a little bit more.
All right, that's great.
See what a dramatic difference just a little slide makes? I think the previous one was perfect for a listener drop because you really want that short punch of listener-generated energy.
All right. That's great.
Okay, how about this one?
What the heck are you talking about?
That's always fun to throw in. Okay, let's reset these to somewhat normal settings. Give it a spin.
What the heck are you talking about?
Wow, not bad. That's close. See what that does?
What the heck are you talking about?
I mean, that's close enough. That totally works for me.
What the heck are you talking about?
You could try... I don't know if this is going to make a difference.
What the heck are you talking about?
A little more casual, conversational. That works for me. I'm actually quite surprised it's that good. And one of my favorites. A true testimonial of my work.
Wow, worst DJ ever.
You're just looking for short pattern interrupts that can kind of jump out and add flavor and punctuate what you're saying.
Wow, that's great.
Granted, they're never going to sound 100% human, but we know that going in. As long as we can get close, no one's going to bust you on that.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
So run wild with this, have fun, be creative. Most of all, load up on patience and try to come up with 10 to 15 of your own listener drop-ins. And you're probably thinking, well, how much is this going to set me back? Well, the great thing with 11 Labs, you can pull all this off for absolutely free as long as you don't exceed 10,000 characters a month. And with these shorty listener drops, that shouldn't be a problem. Number 3, and super cool for the listener, are movie and TV drop-ins. It's so easy to build an entire break around classic movie and TV moments. And oh my God, the source audio is plentiful and very free. I've dropped some links to my favorite sites in the description. Check them out. And put your ear on some of these sample voice tracks. Extreme 80s fun right here on Triple X 80s. Hey, my name is Jamma Jeff Scott, and of all the issues that we were staring down during the 80s, no question was more important.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Woohoo! Put on a robe and turn up Triple X 80s. Extreme 80s fun on Triple X 80s. I'm Jamma Jeff Scott. And you know, the 80s were all about higher learning. I still remember popping in my Spanish by Schwarzenegger cassettes.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Ole! To Triple X 80s. Some people wonder, well, how do I smoothly integrate movies or TV drop-ins into a break? I think one of the best ways is you set them up by asking a question and let the movie clip provide the answer. Extreme 80s fun on Triple X 80s. Hey, I'm Jamma Jeff Scott, and I know you have a lot of options for 80s radio stations, but honestly, if you are considering another one...
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think with fly fish.
Yeah, what he said. Another idea is actually referencing a popular movie character in your setup. Extreme 80s fun right here on Triple X 80s. I'm Jamma Jeff Scott. So happy to say that this 80s experience has been approved by Axel Foley.
Don't worry about me. We got cocaine and coffee here. We're going to get wide and have a big party.
Well, the 80s party rolls on. Triple X 80s. Number 4, history-themed breaks. Not the cheesy on this day in history, which, oh my God, such a cliche and such an eye roll whenever I hear that bit. But please don't do that. If you're pre-recording your tracks, these are more generic history-based bits. And since I run an all-80s radio station, of course, mine are 80s focused. Triple X 80s, and the year is
1983.
The Swiss company Swatch debuts their watches. The final episode of MASH airs. China's population hits 1 billion. And 1 billion of the best 80s songs roll commercial free. And of course, this works well for any other decade-themed radio station. And if you want to spice it up a bit, you can actually create a feature around a specific year. On my station, Triple X 80s, I have the Decade Double Play, which I've dissected how to put this baby together in a previous video, and magically that link appears right up there to the right. But first, put your ear on it and see how it sounds.
The best music, Double Play.
2 righteous tunes are queued up from the year of the Nintendo Game Boy, the first release of Microsoft Office, and When Harry Met Sally.
Yes! Yes! Oh! I'll have what she's having.
The year?
1989.
Triple X 80s.
If you don't have access to fancy Sonovox sounders, well, once again, AI to the rescue. Let's create our own.
1988.
If you don't like how the numerical version of that sounds, try spelling it out.
1988.
Or start off the bit with the AI voice asking the question.
What in the world happened in 1988?
Then you hit them with 12 seconds of fun facts, and then you're out.
I love this idea.
Well, thank you. I'm blushing. Or you could try this to launch a bit.
And now, another fun fact.
What happens if we do this?
And now, another 80s fun fact. And now, another 90s fun fact.
With these setups, you just have access to bits galore. You'll never run out of content. Number 5, pop culture bits. Another fan favorite if you run a decade-based radio station. First, I'll give you a taste of just a basic voice track. Triple X80s. Hey there, I am Jammin' Jeff Scott. And back in 1983, a brand new Swatch watch would set you back $40. I just checked eBay, and those babies are going for over $500. Wow! And Triple X80's music, priceless. And here's a sample of a feature I run that's called 80s Words. Lame title, but cool bit.
What's the word?
And the 80s word is...
gnarly. It's like totally awesome. Birthed in the 70s as a surfing term, it meant dangerous or challenging. But gnarly's awesomeness couldn't be contained, and it broke into the mainstream in 1981's Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, gnarly!
Number 6, listener shout-outs and feedback. So if you don't have access to 2,000 listener phone calls on CD-ROMs, start encouraging your listeners to leave voicemail messages for you. I've installed the widget on my website, and it allows people to record their voices saying anything they want. Do they want to do a shout-out or dedication? Give me some feedback on what they think of Triple X80s. And you take that audio, you slice it and dice it, and you bake it up into a great on-air bit. Triple X80s, I am Jammin' Jeff Scott, and apparently it's Jose's birthday.
Cumpleaños feliz, te deseamos a ti. Cumpleaños whatever, te deseamos a ti. Woo! Yeah!
So if your juices are flowing and you're like, hell yeah, I want some of that. Well, it's being powered by SpeakPipe. It's incredibly super cool and amazingly free. And something I really dig for a bit is it allows you to record like an outgoing message. So maybe every day you come up with a prompt. You have a question that you want your audience to answer. Or if you don't feel like recording daily prompts, well, you can always have a text prompt on your website asking listeners to leave a response to that question. And if you don't have any listener phone calls in your library, a really good way to prime the pump is to go create some AI phoners, because nothing inspires listeners to call in and try to get on the air as hearing other people just like them doing the same thing. So create a couple fake ones if you have to, just to motivate your real human listeners to do the same. Hopefully your broadcaster's block has been banished. And now you have some fresh ideas, so when you pot that mic up, oh my God, true listener euphoria, engagement, creativity is going to come streaming out, because that's the point. The more we could delight and hit our listeners with just something unexpected, something they can't find anywhere else, then that's a big win, not only for you, but for internet radio in general. Because the last time I checked, they really aren't pushing creativity and personality on traditional FM. And once again, that's where we could step in and fill that void. I'm Jeff, the radio DJ dude. By no means was this an exhaustive list. I'm sure you have some kind of cool creative tricks in your bag. And if you don't mind sharing them, well, hey, we're just all here to kind of learn from each other. So drop those little, seeds of inspiration down there in the comments. And let's be honest here. If you found this video a minimum of 18% informative, well, would you do me the favor and get clicking? I'd love a like and subscribe from you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And until our broadcasting paths cross again, I only ask of you one thing. That's right. Keep rocking those mics all over the world.